Hey, good morning, guys. This is Simon with Trading Perform Coaching. It is Wednesday morning, the 21st. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. If you will take a moment and read, I'll pop it up here, this disclaimer. I'm going to have it on the other screen. There we go. If you'll take a moment and read that disclaimer, basically past performance not indicative of future results. This is for educational purposes only. Right, not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, and trading futures is very risky. So what you'll notice is before the single prints were always providing counter rotation, but what you'll notice now is what it's doing. First of all, it's trading through the single prints, right? So if you'll remember what I spoke about, where sometimes you'll get into market, right, for the last 2 months, if you took the single prints, you were so money, right? So this is how in trading, what infuriates people on the trading is, you just made money every time you get to the single print. You're like, single prints money, right? Look on Twitter, you'll see it. Now single prints sometimes work, sometimes don't work. What's working now is key locations, right? So the single prints did work in effect, right? If you look, we opened up, we rotated through the point of control, one ticked above value area high, back to the point of control, which is the natural target. Chop, 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 down below value area low into the single prints. Now, why do I say the single prints worked? Because whoever bought there got blown up, right? And when they backside tested them, they punched out of it, right? Came out of the single prints below prior day's low. So this is a prior day's low here, right? So we start looking for longs in this area, and I'm pretty sure this is where we nailed our long for 70 points, right? So if you're going to look at that chart and kind of make a choice, right, what all of us would have done is gone, well, I'm going to go long right over here, right? And we effectively did, although we had to take it twice to make it work, right? And we really had the target back up pretty clear, right? So the couple of things is, first of all, you got to know that when you look at this, like if I wanted to short here, you got to really be committed here to get this roll down. Here you didn't have to be as committed, right? It got above and it was pretty clear we were deep in the hole. If you look at where the VWAP was way up here, we were in between that third and fourth rail down here on the 8 range, and we had a clear potential target back up, right? Which when the market was stronger, what it would do is this would be your A leg, this would be a little retrace, and then it would make it for this B leg over here, right? And that's the variability of the whole deal. And you can see the single prints did hold in principle throughout this location, right? So I try to take that information and replay. Like if I could have redone yesterday, and we're asking 2 questions. Where's my maximum RR, right? And obviously my maximum RR came out of this location and this location up here. In both cases, we got out of value, right? Or at least traded out of value first before set up, right? And then secondly, you got to remember, we've done a great job of not getting rollover. I think I took a stop in here, and I know we took a stop in ES, but and I'm going to show you ES. If we look at ES again, right? Where's my ES chart? It's the same principle that we're going through, right? We opened up the day, in this case, underneath value, but in the single prints. We pushed. This is the natural target, the point of control. We couldn't make it there, right? Rolled over, came back to the single prints. You see people fighting to hold them. So see when we closed underneath, it backside tested the prior day's low and the single prints, came out of the end. So we fell out below prior day's low into the anomaly, back to prior day's low, second time through the anomaly, back to the anomaly, location matters, counter rotation, failed, this time down to the single prints. But really, see how they try to pick it off at the top of the single prints? These are traders right here trying to pick off that single print area. Nothing wrong with that. But really what triggered the counter rotation was getting it below that prior day's low for the rotation back up. And you had to be cognizant of 2 things. I spoke to someone in the room who took both ES trades. One ES trade they stopped out at, and on the second ES trade, they just basically took their profits back and said, well, I got to get out. But you got to stop. If you get the trade down here at 41.16, you got to look at it and go, this is my most likely target, 41.22, followed by the potential, right? Really, I would have tried to push for once you're down here. And even though it didn't work this time, right, that 50 retrace is really what you're pushing for on the potential. Eventually got there. I know it came all the way back before it got there, right? And I'm certainly not saying you hold it from 41.28 back to 41.10 to get 41.30, right? But certainly more than 2 or 3 points out of a location where you just pierced a prior day's low. You've got to raise your awareness that that's where we are, that we've just taken out a prior day's low, and that's where the push is going to come from. So that's what I had to say about that. Let's go over here. I'm going to park these over here and adjust the charts. So we have NQ in front of us. We'll do that first. Okay, so once again, when you look, we also traveled to the bottom of balance, right? When you look at that, there's really been no damage done. If you look at that chart, right, there's just nothing horrible about that chart. It's just in the range, right? I would fully expect that we're going to come back to at least the middle of the range, if not the top of the range, right? The earnings haven't been horrible. It's just some profit taking so far, right? Anything's bound to change, but if you look at that chart, that is not a disaster chart. If I was long from a buy and hold perspective, we dipped underneath. We dipped underneath this swing, which was important, but it's the first time underneath. If this is a daily chart, we broke the swing, we'd expect a 50-60 back anyways, right? So let's go. Thank you, Peter. Let me go check it really. I got it. Hold on a sec here. What did you send me? Oh, I'm looking. Hold on a sec. Open PNF level 4076. Okay, thank you, sir. Look at that megaphone you got going there. I like that. That's pretty cool. And it's right at the bottom of that megaphone, too. Here, that's I'll show you what Peter sent, since there's a million ways to look at it. All right, see how we're in the megaphone? And a megaphone, the thing to note about the megaphone is that the volatility gets bigger and bigger as it goes on. It just keeps getting wider and wider. So at any rate, he's showing that he has a open PNF level at 4076. Peter's pretty good about catching the turn. That would also make sense because 4076 would take out that fractal right there too and pop you back into the mid, right? So I like that idea. Good work, sir. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. So let's go change these charts up and get ready for the day. Okay, so pretty easy changes here. So notice that we're gapping down. We're currently trading just inside, right? A gap down inside of range usually results in a rotation back up. Funny, I had a great day yesterday, and I feel like I'm struggling still. Just to put the whole piece behind me with resolving the. So what I resolved with that is I just need to stay the heck out of the out of the point of control is what I resolved on that, which is obviously an easy resolution. So now you look, this is the clear resistance back up here, right? Prior day's high. This is poorly auctioned. You can trade through here. And if you look below, right, the ones that I would want to attack is there's actually, this is a prior high right here at 13,660. There's a Dalton's gap fill, top of an open window and mid of a half gap. 13,660 to 13,640 is a prime area for getting the counter rotation out of there. So this, why do I have that as blue? That sure looks like a juicy point of control, and it's on a stretch. How far back is that? Got to be multiple days of points of control. Still going to go with that blue area. If we get a setup from there, it's on a stretch, so it's valid. There's 3 days of balance there, so it could be choppy. And then all these areas down here are valid. Prior day's highs up here. That green goes to orange. And that's it. Delay, minimize, and then we can see what it was doing overnight. Coming over here. And so I am missing data for some reason. I don't know if their service went down. I was having issues with it this morning, but I'm missing all that overnight data. You can see from Asia, late in Asia, we dipped underneath the low, right? Trap back in. What's the natural target? Point of control. Point of control, chop, 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 finally fell out, right? And we're trading inside of value. If this low holds, like if they don't get down, that's a gap down. I'd expect us to come right back here, back up for at least an early test. First half hour has been the hardest half hour, right? Everything is really set up at 40.66. Okay, thank you, sir. So everything is really set up after 9 o'clock. So there's no particular rush to trade. I'm going to put our charts like this, I think. It's enough levels. I mean, even if we get nuked, that should be enough levels. It's 300 points. Except I should probably get above the prior day's high there. There we go. Edit, copy chart to BMP. And then let's get ES handled. Again, same thing, just no damage. It's just a pullback. That's all it is so far. It's fixed, 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 fixed. Big single prints right in here. The market needs to be repaired. So you just need to put notes on that. Market needs to repair this area. That needs to be repaired. Which probably means we come back up here and go chop, 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 chop while we fix it. I think that's it. Value area high, value area low, prior days low, prior days high, anomaly, point of controls. We're done. And we can see how it did overnight. There's Asia. All we did is dip underneath the value area. We just traveled the whole value area up to the single prints, rejected. Again, see how the easier trades are coming below and above, and it's balancing. We're just filling in space here, right? So remember, we are gapping down. We are currently showing -7.5, but inside range, that usually results in a push back up. It rarely results in a long. Thank you, sir. No, sir, I love it. So I'm just saying, usually when we gap down and we hold in range, it usually pops back to that point of control. That's all I'm saying. And I think that 41.32 to 41.40 is our upside target up to that 44 today on ES. So that's my 2 cents. I'll leave you with these levels here. That puts us down 17. Let's get a little bit more. There we go. Down to 40.65 and up to 41.85 in case we get the nutty. You notice now all of a sudden that kind of talk of the stimulus is kind of eroded, and now we're going back to a kind of a regular market, which is great for us. And also notice how, if you remember 2 weeks ago, we just kind of got all ground up in that, oh, it's going higher, and how narrow the range got. And look, if you just sit patiently when you look at that, which I'm guilty of not doing, right? When you look at that, you go, okay, I just have to wait till the range opens up and I'll get paid. And that's exactly what happened, right? Range opens up, we get paid. There's your ES levels for today. We may be interrupted by some 4-year-olds here in a minute. There we go. Flipped over here, and I will adjust the charts as soon as we open. And again, I'd be interested in marking off where the highest volume. One thing you need to keep up with is where's the highest volume bars. Like overnight, I'm missing data, but clearly this bar is let's erase all lines. but clearly that's the highest volume down bar there. So if you get above that, you'd expect a push, right? So it's just worth noting, just like over here, see how that's the highest volume bar up? Okay, so you'll see eventually what happens is it comes underneath, backside test, and rolls down. Of course, this is an 8 range and not good for overnight here, but you can see it here as well. But see on the way up, okay, so we had this yesterday, so I can show you, but I wanted to see it overnight. So you'll see overnight on the way up. So like the first time through on the way up, if you pull this back, you will see, okay, so see over here at first in Asia, see how that was the biggest volume down? That was right there, but it was the biggest volume down of the evening, right? So see, once they cleared it, it takes off, right? So you do want to make a special distinction. Then see over here again, that volume bar down. So someone put in a stop in there, got above them, right? But once you get above those guys, they tend to push. Well, the opposite is true too. If you find where the biggest push came, like for example, at 230, that's the biggest push right there. If you highlight that bar, so we don't know exactly what happened there because I'm missing the data. I've reloaded it and recalculated it 2 times. But you can see generally when it gets back into that area, it's going to reject out of that to start the day, right? It's just the biggest volume bar. Now, somewhere in here was the biggest down bar as well. But so 2 things. When you see the biggest up bar come at the end of the rotation, that's easy peasy. You should be super aggressive on that, I think, right? Once you get underneath it, it tends to be a beautiful fall away. But also the biggest volume bar within a session, or as they set up in the afternoon, they become key pivot points. The other thing is we can afford to wait for a stretch away. I'm going to go ahead and reset this chart to US to start at US session, new bar at session start. Okay. Let's go ahead and reset this. Nope. Thing. So importantly, inside of balance, inside prior day's low, right? If they try to push down, it's probably going to get met with buying, is my most obvious conclusion. I'm going to assume the 8 range will be the best range for me to be on. I have the 6 range available if I need it. And the 6 range will have the envelope on it if I put it on. And it's on. Okay. So I should see that envelope. So let's just see where everything is here in a couple minutes. Take a breath, right? If we take it easy, right, we got 70 points on that one trade, and we pretty much had a good idea that we were going to get it, right? We didn't know, but once it started going, we had a pretty good idea that we could get it to click. It's really what we want, right, in terms of starting out and establishing what we're looking for. So just keep that in mind. That's all. And remember, we don't have to be the first ones in, right? And remember, this is the clear location back up if they're going to push up, right? Why do I have a green line through here? There we go. Not below value area low, just kind of inside. Can't make it to the point of control, so maybe we come down and retest towards the low again. Just stay sharp. Biggest volume bar down so far this session, right here. Let's mark that with the color red, so I know. If I get above here, I know that I probably push towards 76 to 92. ES right at just underneath value, the points of control, and above value area low, just stuck in value. Chop, chop, chop. Came down to value area low. Pushing back up towards 1363. No significant rotation so far. Back to the point of control for NQ. See how we couldn't get past that? Now there's your divergent fractal. Now we know that's an important area. Right? Biggest volume bar was defended. We know we get above that. We're probably going up here. $13,747 is the VWAP. Again, the trades are easier if you can get away from VWAP as well. So let's get a test set up again at below prior day's low would be my strongest desire. Yes, totally just grinding it here on the just below the POCs. Yes, untested point control 41.54. But okay, I'm all right with that. Did I miss it, Randy? Oh, I did. Sorry. Thank you, sir. Please add a level from 54.50 to 57.50. Below prior day's low, watch for the trap. Again, single prints just below us. Take it ES. It's still doing nothing. Back down. One triangle up, one triangle down, another triangle up should lift it against the low. Remember the two triangles in close proximity in the direction you want to trade. Or it may make a run for those single prints. Two triangles in close proximity. I'm long. If I can get 713, I couldn't get there quick enough. Damn, it just flew. He had other buy stop in. Sorry, I was going to grab it and then it just flew away from me. Biggest push up of the U.S. session so far, but nothing exceptional. ES is going, and Q probably follows it. Trap back in. You can play the trap against 3718 is your other alternative to that. And if it doesn't close below 13718, you hold the prior day's low trap. This is that test right now. So now you can use 07 as your stop if you need to. Actually, you can use it tighter than that. You can put it right here. Maybe a point or two underneath 12. So it's pierced the low, right? So your 50-60s back are now valid. It's broken the swing. What you're looking for is if you can get a 3-bar combo with the last bar having the highest volume on the push down, that should trap them into this 50-60 for the push back up. Is that clear when I explain that? Am I being clear on how I'm giving the read? I'm trying to really focus in on just nailing the touches, right? We should make it back to, I think, the point of control at some point today. I don't see anything as, I'm just not bearish, I guess. I'm not bullish either. I'm just saying we pierced below the low. We couldn't make that single prince was a clear target down there. We couldn't get there yet. So maybe we fail. We are below value area low, so it's backside testing that. Yeah, we've got to be like we have to be like super tuned into that because that thing's just pain. I noticed that repeatedly. That double triangle at the bottom, it doesn't show up every time or all the time even. Like I went through where you didn't see it for a week. But when you saw it, it pays like a banshee. Biggest volume up bar on that, right? You get below that. So it's not the last bar of the rotation. It was on the 6, but it was also on the 8. But the next bar wasn't negative, right? I said, this is the target. Boom. What a trade. Randy, did you grab that? Did anyone else grab that? I know I was vague about it's long. I was just trying to show where the setup was, but that double setup was great job, Kevin. Good job, Victor. Good job. Perfect. It wasn't a perfect setup, but it was close, and those double triangles are monster. Also, you got the so this is going to provide, okay, so see how we're above this now on the backside test of this? My experience has been that will now serve as support, or if you get underneath, it'll become resistance the second time, right? So underneath, that becomes resistance above, but see how they're short squeezing it almost immediately? I would take another scale inside the point of control or flat. That's a pretty good target up for a first move. Good job, Victor. Good job, Kevin. So now you're inside a value. You've made it to the point of control. You don't want to try to go. So if we got cute, we'd say, well, we're going to flip it there, right? These are the two biggest volume bars of the U.S. session. 1, 2. How is that possible? Two biggest up bars of the session. I would say if you got underneath 13,756, that would be your resistance area now. So far. Could grind all the way through. ES up 5, NQ down 19. Perfectly played, guys. Well done. And so now you don't want to get frustrated if you didn't take it. You just reset. All right. I want to show you also on ES, right? Right off the open, you got your biggest volume bar. So that's the biggest volume bar down. See, once they closed above it, short squeeze. Okay, I can't watch everything simultaneously, obviously. No one's asking me to, but hindsight report there on that one. Man, Victor, you're going to have to move your wife out of, I don't know. And Kevin, man, Victor being your friend, he's going to put a ton of pressure. And I feel I can say this. You know, if you're married to a stereotypical Jewish woman, you're going to be in serious competition with Victor on upping the purses with your wife. So we know there's absolutely nothing to do unless you get underneath those two biggest volume bars. And really what you want them is backside tested, right? We're looking for triangles down, fractals. Like notice we don't have any fractal, like the fractal's all the way down here. So the only way this works out is the V. So I just wrote down in my trading, if I don't get a fractal and it just comes up like this and V's out of there, I just miss, right? Like that's all there is to it. I stress way too much over not catching that V move. So which wife doesn't? We're gonna have to get you moved up in contract size, brother. That was a beautiful open in a down market. Biggest volume bar up. If this is down, that's a pretty typical short there, by the way. If you got to get the close underneath, couldn't happen. Interesting. 3 flat. It's still valid. It's still the last bar if you get underneath it. And the backside test. That's right. It's this bar right here. Well, not anymore. It's just the biggest bar now. The wave continued, and now it moved to the left, didn't it? Did it? No, same bar still. It's not the yellow speed bar, it's this one. It's that one. That's the bar with the most volume on it in the US session. Point of control underneath. Backside test that. You're running to 854. I don't know if we have econ this morning. I'll look. If I owe someone an email, by the way, someone emailed me and I did not get back to them. I apologize. I have not looked at my email in 2 days. So I will go through it this afternoon. US econ, Wednesday. We know we have 9:30 oil. Tuesday. Nothing's. Wait, do we have oil today? Why isn't oil on this calendar? We have oil today. It's Wednesday. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? It's Wednesday. I'm not crazy. Yeah. Okay, it's not on mine. That's fine. 9:30. Great. ES on a grinder into the single prints. Big volume push down. And they couldn't break it, interestingly. Not the biggest volume push down, but that was another 75-point trade, guys. Holy cow. CL ripping. Interesting. Remember, we're in the point of control here, so this should be a pretty much like don't do anything area for us, long or short. If it falls out of here, it just falls out of here. But why frustrate yourself? We're trying to get this perfect. 3 minutes till top of the hour. Again, there's no econ, so it's just, yeah, it's this. And that's definitely an impulse move off that biggest wave. You normally wouldn't want to short against that wave anyways. You'd look for a 50-60 pullback.